G'day folks, welcome back to the channel for episode number 35 of our dual-wielding Acid Dervish, which as you can see is most likely going to be the last episode for this character. We are dead, and you can see, it's not showing me with the mouse over, but you can see what killed us up there in the right corner. That is an Eldritch Totem. This was the second attempt at doing an Eldritch Totem. I tried once pretty much straight away after episode 34, and ended up running away. And I tried again just now after farming for a little while. Can I open inventory? No. Okay. I'll bring up some the Grim tools of this character and show you what it looked like when it died. But basically I upgraded the relic to a nemesis for +1 skills. And I was attempting to get my hands on some celestial lotuses in order to re-roll set items to get a little more defensive power, I guess. But yeah, you can see how that turned out. So anyway, I'll be back in a second once I've opened up Grim Tools. Okay, so this is the character as it was when it died. Wendigo Jawbones in both weapon slots with Vitriolic Gallstone and Manticore Venom. Slith Primal Ring, this is the ultimate version, with a Frozen Heart and a Gazer Eye. Then the Prismatic Vine of the Boar with a Frozen Heart and a Gazer Eye. This is the Elena's Necklace, the +1 Nightblade Amulet, with the Of the Grove suffix and a Wardstone for resistances. The Heretic's Corvin Gaze of Corrosion, basically make Righteous Fervor really, really good in helmet form, with a Prismatic Diamond and Mankind's Vigil. Mankind's Vigil is on most of the armor pieces because I was really struggling to get Aether and less, but also Chaos resistance. The Elite Malmo Defender Kuras and Pauldrons, just because I needed armor. I was noticing even last episode I was noticing I was getting smacked around a lot. The armor rating on this character is, to put it bluntly, horrible for a melee character. We've got 2 scaled hides to get the armor absorption up, but as you saw, that didn't really make a huge difference. The Grasp of Unchained Might doesn't really help us all that much. The weapon damage on Ring of Steel and the reduced target resistances to Ring of Steel are about the best parts of these gloves, but good armor rating for gloves as well. Golemborn Greaves, because again, I was very squishy. I knew I was very squishy, so I wanted the Golemborn proc there. Mark of Mogdrogan, because run speed. This Basilisk Mark, I think we picked up around level 50 back in normal, and I just didn't really find anything better. Granted, I wasn't hugely looking for it, but Wardstone for resistances and the Rift Tear ability for another movement skill. The Pack of Deadly Means we got from Ultimate Logorian. This is the pretty much the best poison belt for a Dervish. This is more or less as good as it gets, so very lucky drop, very happy with that. Nemesis was the only... No, sorry, there's 3 +1 Nightblade relics. I had the recipes for Nemesis, which is the one with the pet scales of player damage, and Nidala's Outbreak, I think it is the one I wanted, but it was the one I didn't have, so I think the other one is piercing or physical damage. I don't remember, but this was the better of the 2 I had, but it was still not the one I wanted. Demon Bone Leg Plates. This is item level 50 pants. Skill wise, we've got points in all the procs at the top here. Ring of Steel. This one for the reduced target resistances for 3 seconds. Also, it's acid damage. And also the bottom line here, 26% chance for target to fumble attacks. I was really noticing, as I said, that this character is quite squishy. I took this and I wanted more points in this actually, but points are tight, so didn't get it unfortunately, but I don't think it would have saved the character at the end there. That chance to fumble attacks is really good. Same over here with Shadow Dance. Just chance to straight up avoid attacks is very, very nice. So Shadow Strike, obviously. All of this, if you hold Control Shift, it'll show you how many points you actually put in these. These are all 1-pointers except for Nidalla's Hidden Hand. 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. These ones are 9 each. This heal is very nice. The offensive ability is very nice. And giving us the chance to just avoid attacks is also very nice. Didn't put a point down here because we're not doing cold damage, and my elemental resistances were capped without this, so I would rather not spend points on stuff I don't need. Veil of Shadow, again, I would like more in this because the aura debuffs the enemy, so reduces their offensive ability and also slows them down. More points in here maybe would have resulted in an extra miss, probably still would have died. Same deal with Knight's Chill. This is Resistance Shred. On the Oathkeeper side, we have maxed out Celestial Presence and Path of the Three. This is acid damage. This is acid resist reduction from the pets. Righteous Fervor, we maxed that out. Didn't bother with adding retaliation damage. This buff here, in hindsight, I don't actually know why I have this. With 1 point, this more or less does nothing. So I would like more points in this, or just remove it, because it doesn't really seem like it's doing much. Ascension was really good. The only time this character felt like it wasn't, half a second away from exploding was when Ascension was active. This is really, really good. Any character I have in the future that has Oathkeeper will definitely be taking this. Just in general, and all my other characters do pretty much have this as well. But yeah, this is really good. And this is the Oathkeeper's Circuit Breaker, which doesn't break any circuits. A little bit of extra defensive ability, Fizz Resist, and Max All Res. It's not going to save anyone. This is a nice to have. You'll see it's only 1 point. This only had 10 in it. I believe I had +2 to Oathkeeper skills at 1 point, so I put this up to 12 out of 12, and then I guess I got an extra +1. As for devotions, we have a whole bunch of poison ones here. Well, 2 poison ones. The rat is poison. The Eye of the Guardian is poison, and the procs will lifesteal as well, so this is really good for sustain. The fox is all about that attack damage converted to health. The spider, I believe, is taken because it's 6 green for 5 points, and also just stats, attack speed, offensive ability, just good all-round points. The eel, 3 points for a chance to avoid melee attacks, projectiles, and I was expecting that to say spell for some reason, but good stats, but mostly that's there for 5 blue points for 3 actual points spent. Rumor on the Murmur constellation, because if you're playing an acid or a cold build and you don't have this, what are you even doing with your life? You have to have this. It's such a huge multiplier for your damage, you'd be silly not to. The Revenant, because the skeletons will reduce target's resistances. They're also another pet that scales off your player damage, and it kind of felt thematic. And up here is more attack damage converted to health. The Olzuin's Torch, these are just leftover points. Everybody needs more offensive ability, everybody needs more offensive ability, and movement speed, crit damage. These are just nice to haves. This is not really part of the build so much as just I had extra points left over, so why not? The Abomination, this makes you tankier and also gives you acid damage. This one here is a huge pile of health. 350 on one node is a massive pile of health. Same over here, more health. And then we have the Tainted Eruption proc. This is bound to the Guardians. This build definitely has a lot of, I wouldn't say focus, but there's more put on the pets than I would like. Maybe that was just how I did it, but yeah, the pets are, both of the pets have procs on it. I've got Murmur or sorry, rumor is on the Blade Spirits, and then the Guardians of Empyrean have the Tainted Eruption. Black Blood of Ugol. Ugol in general is really good for acid. That's called, no wait, this one here, acid damage, health, offensive, some resistance. I thought there was more. Yeah, there we go. 100% acid damage. Attack damage convert to life, flat acid damage. And then this proc is another pet. And yeah, that's the, I guess I should mention the ghoul as well. Ghoulish Hunger, when you get low. This is basically go to full health for 5 seconds, the devotion. Really good circuit breaker. If you're playing a melee character, you should strongly consider having this. This definitely saved me the first time when I ran away from that Celestial Totem. Okay, so it's been about a day and a half since the character ripped, and due to recording difficulties earlier in the series, I had been making backups of the character just in case I needed to re-record something. So I brought the character back to life, and this is a temporary thing only. This character will be deleted. I don't keep dead hardcore characters. It's cheating, and at that point you may as well just create the character with GD stash, and I'm just not doing that. So I did do some farming. I farmed up the whole Venom Blade set, so we'll be able to see sort of how the character should have looked if I had kept going. The build I was going to do, instead of these Widow Stings here, is supposed to have double Shuroth's Magi Rings. And I'm not going to lie to you, I am not farming that shit for a character that's dead. Magi's Rings are like a, what are they, 5% drop chance. You have a 1 in 7 chance to get the Magi you want, or 1 in 6, or whatever the math works out to be. I'm not doing the Court of the Magi like 100 times to get these rings. It's just not happening. So these are close. You get Spine Novas instead of the proc on the Magi's ring, which looks like it's a variant of the Guardian Eye proc. But yeah, I'm not doing that. Same with the amulet. The build I was looking at has Kaisan's amulet with very specific affixes. I'm not grinding Nemesis with the Eldritch Peoples just to go and hunt down their Nemesis. This character's dead. It's dead to me. I'm just not doing that. But I did do, I don't know, maybe 5 hours of farming, and I transferred some of these items over from my other level 100s. So this is blatant cheating at this point, just so as I can kind of show the build how it would have been if I had not died. So, what I was doing, at the end of episode 34, I said something along the lines of, okay, at this point, the character is very squishy, I want to go farm stuff, I want to get the set organized, I want to, improve the character, because at this point, I'm pretty sure if I went into Ashes of Malmo, this character would die. Okay? So I didn't want to just go into Ashes of Malmo and watch it die. I was going to farm some gear. And my usual method of farming gear is to go into Twin Falls and East March and kill the Eldritch Totems there to get the Celestial Lotus. Then you use the Celestial Lotus with the Inventor, and you basically re-roll items, re-roll sets, until you get 4 pieces of the set you want, or 4 pieces in this case, because there are 4 pieces, and then you use the other transmuting option to get all 4 different pieces, because you'll probably get duplicates. So, that's what the plan was. That's why I was fighting a Celestial Totem. You know what? I don't care about loot. This character's dead. So the first totem I went to try out spawned, I want to say, 5 of the Scions, and it kicked my ass pretty comprehensively, and I ended up running away. And so I thought, okay, this isn't going to work. I need to go farm, you know, this area, maybe do some other normal totems up the east coast here, do Blood Grove through to Darkvale Gate runs, that sort of thing. And I did that for 6 or 7 hours. I got a couple of drops. I think I got the June Fiend's weapon. I got a blue weapon that had +1 to Nightblade and +1 to Oathkeeper. So I got weapon upgrades. I got Kubrakabra's pants. These are a different pair, but I had some Kubrakabra's pants. I upgraded the Nemesis as well. But anyway, I had a few gear upgrades, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll try the Eldritch totems again. Maybe with a few pieces of gear. You know, I've got a bit more damage now. I've got a bunch of extra skill points. Maybe I can kill one of them, run away, wait for Ascension to come back, go back, kill one more under Ascension, run away again. And you saw the end result of that attempt. So I had ran away, but I hadn't run far enough away for them to reset. So they were still chasing me. I killed off a couple of Crumley's goons while they were chasing me. And then I noticed they were coming back. I saw that Ascension had come back up because it had been on cooldown. It was coming back up, so I thought, okay, I'll re-engage, I'll hit Ascension as soon as it comes up. It'll be like half a second. And then I was dead. After reviewing the rip clip, I saw that there was... I had actually pushed the Ascension button, and I think I had died mid-cast. So, I almost had it. If I just waited another half a second, maybe I wouldn't have died. But I didn't, so I did, and that's the end of it. So, this is basically what the character would have looked like. It's more or less more of the same. I think the only skill change that I would have done is because you have a whole bunch of bonuses to Amarasta's Blade Burst. I probably would have taken a few points in that just to have the skill. But yeah, the build wasn't going to change heaps. I had a couple pieces of the June Fiend set, and I was considering also showing what it would look like if you used Eye of Reckoning, because the June Fiend set is based on Eye of Reckoning. But obviously ripped before I got to that point. So yeah, this will be the end of this particular playthrough. As you can see, the build is, I mean, number go up, but otherwise the playstyle is the same. But yeah, this is the end for this character. To do a sort of recap / summary of this build, it was really good for leveling. And maybe if I had a different build, or maybe there was some changes I could have made to make this not feel absolutely horrible once I get to level 100. But I didn't make those changes, and it just felt incredibly weak. The offense was fine. It was killing things about how fast I would expect a fresh level 100 to kill things. The problem is, I've got 12,000 hit points when I'm used to playing with characters that have 22,000 hit points, 18,000 hit points. It is very light on health. The armor, average value around like 2,100, when I'd say I'm probably used to that being close to 24, 2,500, which definitely didn't help. This has a lot, and I mean a seriously huge amount of attack damage converted to health. But if you get hit really hard, really fast, you don't have time for that to work. So when I was just starting to do farming, I would notice that the Prismatic Diamond was pretty much always on cooldown. I would notice the Ghoul was going off at least once or twice every single time I left town. A character that has their death prevent skills, their circuit breakers, going off that often probably needs a shield. Yeah, this character is incredibly squishy. I might even say cripplingly squishy. I am not a fan. However, I did not get this to the point where it was sort of the end game build. And the devotion map for the build I was looking at did have scales in it. So scales of Karma, tip the scales proc. When you get hit, you attack back with vitality damage and leech most of that damage back. This isn't a vitality build, but it still would help a lot. So that might have helped, but then there wasn't any gear that had a heal proc on it. This heal proc granted 7% plus 300. 10% would be, so let's say that's about 1,300 every 5 seconds. It's just not enough. There's not enough buffer here. There's not enough defense here. If you don't have Ascension active while you're fighting, your Prismatic Diamond is going to trigger. The Ghoul is going to trigger. This build is very, very squishy. I would not recommend it for hardcore. Although, like I said, while leveling it was fine. And maybe I was doing something wrong. So tell me in the comments if there's anything that you see that is obviously stupid. Because as it is, I would not recommend this for a hardcore build. At least not for an early beginner player kind of thing. Yes, it got to 100, but the last 10 levels while leveling it were kind of a bit iffy, and it got more iffy the closer I got to level 100. So, anyway, that's my thoughts on this character. Like I said, it is dead, so it's got to go. But yeah, anyway, that'll be the end of this video series. There's new stuff starting up in the next couple of days. I've got Last Epoch coming. I've got the last few videos for the Pet Ritualist on the way, and yeah, then I might do another character, probably a caster or something this time. But anyway, that'll be the end of this series. So thank you all for watching. I hope you learned something or at least enjoyed the series, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.